Hello and welcome to our next video. In this lesson, we're just going to take a brief moment to look at a common utility class that we're going to use. We're going to create this and then we're going to export this as a jar file. And then we'll be able to use this file as a library in our projects going forward, having this common code being encapsulated in that jar file. So for this video, you're going to want to get 0104 creating and working with a utility package loaded into your environment so that you can work along with me. But the first thing I want to show you is that what I've done in 0104 is I've created a package. Now I did this so that we have something useful that isn't just going to be in the default namespace. I did this, I called it com.companyname. Now you could name it whatever the heck you wanted to that made sense. Commonly it will start with com or com and then dot. It could have just been utility package or whatever we want it to be. I put company name here, so if you were running a company, you might put com.mycompany or whatever, and then put your code inside there. So to do that real quick, you just select new package. So and then you can name it whatever you want. So if I wanted com.google, I could put that here. And you see com.google then creates a package, and I can do a new class in there called blah. And ultimately I'm going to delete this, but you see the package name at the top, com.google, and then the class is blah. And so ultimately we would have the ability to call com.google, and whatever we put inside of blah, we could either create a new instance of blah and do its methods. We'll create things statically so you don't have to instantiate. I'm going to delete this package, we don't want it. Let's look at utilities. And again, I'm going to Control M to expand this. So we have three different methods here, and these are going to be some things that we could use throughout the course. So the first thing to note is there's a ternary operator in here. Now this may be new or foreign syntax to most of you, and that's okay. Let's examine it real quickly. A ternary operator is essentially saying if else. And so by doing this, I'm doing it in one line. Now what we're trying to do here is prove that two strings are equal, and it's null safe, meaning that if one of them's null, the other one needs to be null or they're not equal. Or if they're both not null, then we compare them. This one we're going to do equals without ignoring the case. This one we're going to ignore the case. So that's the only difference between these two. If I wanted to do this, I could have written this, exactly the same. If S1 equals null, return S2 equal null. Now that's going to return true if they're both null, or false if S1 is null and S2 is not. Else, return S1.equals S2. So what you can see here is that this ternary operator accomplishes that exact same task in one line of code. And it's very handy. S1 equals null. Look where it's at, right here. It's the if condition. If this question mark says, if this is true, then do this. So we're returning, if S1 is null, return S2 equals null. That's this part of the statement. This says else, do S1.equals S2. See how that works? So that's a really handy, nice way to write an if-else statement in one line of code. So again, the first one's just going to check if string 1's null, then return string 2 is null, otherwise return if they're equal. So that will work. We also have null safe string equals, same thing. And we have our print stars method just for fun, which is going to allow us to pass in a number and print stars. The last thing I want to note about this is that we'll note they're all static. That's very handy because now I don't have to instantiate a utilities class. I can simply call utilities.nullSafeString equals pass in two strings and expect a Boolean back. Technically, I should have written unit tests on this, and maybe you want to do that as an exercise. And that wraps up our look at creating this common utility class. Now we're ready to go ahead and export the jar, and we'll do that in the next video. Thank you very much, and we'll see you next time.